relationships celebrated, unions memorialized in both tradition and innovation, rare footage that show how the most universal of emotions become unique expressions of indigenous Philippine cultures. From coy flirtations in dance to charming spoken love letters, from symbolic conquests to journeys on the open waters, all reflections of our boundless energy. Kakaibang sigla sa pagsusuyo, pagkakaisa at pagmamahalan. In the previous episode, we met Aiky and Gengrace Sula, a young Tboli couple who had decided that they wanted to formalize their union in a traditional Tboli manner. The wedding preparations were overseen by Sula, a relative of the bride. An important culture bearer, Rosie, along with other Tboli elders, made sure that the traditional elements of a Tboli wedding were followed. It did not matter if these were scaled down for economic or practical reasons. What mattered was that communities and relatives of both bride and groom were to experience tradition.
Dating doon sa bahay ng kung saan yung bride, so bababa siya sa kabayo, tapos yung kabayo na yan ibibigay sa papa ng kanyang magiging asawa.
The previous episode ended with the arrival of the groom at the gonobong, the marriage house.
Pag akyat niya, we call that the muntun. Ibig sabihin, lagyan siya ng kwentas. Ibig sabihin is acceptance.
Inside, Gengrace, the bride, had been covered in the sacred Yekumo blanket.
Kiss nila yung babae na nandun siya sa ilalim ng canopy. Kiss nila, tapos bigyan siya ng something na to represent na i-accept nila siya.
The giving of gifts is an important part of the wedding tradition. It begins with a simple exchange of betel chews between the two families. And slowly escalates as more and more valuable gifts are given.
exchanging of betel nuts. Tapos, yung lalaki, mag-upo na doon sa tabi ng babae, magsayaw yung babae. Lebagan. Sudong. Bibigyan ng lalaki yung kanyang malong na sa katawan niya sa parents ng bride. Then after that, yun na, magkwentuhan yung mga tao, exchanging of betel nuts around, and then giving of gifts. We call that bamakan. Meron munang something from the parents of the groom, and then i-exchange nila from the parents of the bride, yun, bago magkain yung lahat. Then after that, offering of food, yung babae at lalaki, pinapakain yun sila. Parang serve as cake nila, may mag-facilitate doon magpakain sa kanila. After that, yun na pag-offer na ng pagkain.
Then the ritual feast in which the entire community participated.
Before sila matulog, mayroong ritual. Parang nagsasabi na, till death do us part. Ang mag-officiate noon is yung isang babaeng recognized sa community na good model.
Tutu ko buka la ta siyahan ni mengang siyahan kun afat la ko tuha afat ko kogo.
Hindi mo kung tiyan yung tam.
Ada musuh.
And then, after that, mag-aawitan na. Yun na, that's the end, sa gabi. Nhớ mình cứ một đun mình nhớ để lên mơ lùi đưa ôi ba ta sơn u bono mà họ bắt đun về mình u để lên cô đục na yên na bút cho cùi sợ linh ôn ni cơ kỳ phút na hắn phu cầm ngã sợ ta phùng một yêu u đã rất mò lùi một yêu mình cầm ở năm đường
cơ trong phương của đây cờ bò cho người ta nutu ni nutu la ni sedang apa alu yuhana tol karunan lai kerana turunnya tabam tabahap nyabiku kayum ku.
Yung talumpati, pagtatalumpati, mag-aawitan yung both sides, yun magbabatuhan sila ng kwento o ng parables. True parables, nag-uusap sila, but truth hunting. Ang pinag-uusapan doon sa talumpati na yan, sa True Lingontalo, is that whatever the attitude of the bride and the attitude of the groom and the attitude of these parents, doon nila ipinakita yung ugali ng bawat panig. After that, they can come into consideration, mag-aawitan sila, magtatawanan, although masakit. Pag naintindihan nila yun, sometimes somebody will get angry on that certain talumpati na yun. Although they get angry because of certain intriga. Ngunit, nagkaisa pa rin sila, come into one decision na dapat magbibigayan ng dowry, dapat successful yung pag-asawa ng kanilang mga anak.
Ringo ba ano mola tukuri hagitay tauturan angat pa paling tauturan neneg makareng kemaandu semalo harai genan.
In many traditional societies, weddings and other feasts are gatherings that proclaim the prestige of a family. They are also means by which the entire community is feasted, wined and dined, to use our expression, all for the continued goodwill shown to the newlyweds. All the while there was drinking and feasting going on, and music constantly punctuated by laughter and cheering. The next morning, the wedding rites came to a close with a formal exchange of the dowry.
The dowry will give by the parents of the groom to the parents of the bride. And then we have this loss. Loss is a seed money from the parents of the bride going to the parents of the groom. Then the groom's parents should give horses, gongs, the container of the betel nuts. We call that blogo. Noong unang panahon, pag mag-ngi kami ng dowry sa aming anak na babae, ang tatanggapin talaga namin ay kabayo. Agong, blogo, galing naman sa parents ng babae is yung, we call that hilot, yung belt na ganito. Galing ito sa parents ng babae, ibibigay doon sa parents ng lalaki. Yung hilot at saka yung mga ganito. Unang panahon yan, no money involved. Sa ngayon, bihira na yung kabayo, so tinatanggap na rin yung pera, ginagawa na lang kabayo. tinatanggap na namin yung mga cellphone, relo, kasi we are living in this modern world.
Aiky's family had agreed on the bride price of 2 malong, 2 agong, 1 turban, 1 metal container for betel and 6 horses. In exchange, Gengrace's family gave gifts consisting of 7 brass anklets, 1 beaded comb, and 500 pesos. Except for the 6 horses, the gifts may seem like mere tokens. But all these textiles, metal items, gongs are still held in very high regard in traditional Tboli society.
Ang pagbibigay ng dowry, depende yun sa bloodline ng isang babae. Pag anak siya ng dato, pag royal blood, malaki ang dowry na hihingiin ng parents. So, example ko po, yung sarili ko, kasi yung papa ko humingi ng 15 horses. So, binibigay ng parents ng asawa ko. 15 horses, 2 kalabaw at 1 baka at 6 na sewing machine. At saka may mga ano pa, may mga shotguns, may mga gongs. Marami, sir. Kasi ang sabi ng papa ko, kasi royal blood daw kami.
Horses still are very highly valued animals, very useful in traversing the hill country beyond Lake Cebu. In the olden days, a fight between 2 stallions was the climax of a traditional wedding.
So, depende yun sa sitwasyon. Gaya ngayon, nobody can afford to give even 5 horses today. Nobody can give even one cow and 1 carabao. Only before. Because the people concentrate on the customary ways and they are wealthy. So, but nowadays, because of many students going to school, yung property nila binibinta para lang ipagpaaral sa mga anak.
Practical reasons now dictated that Aiky's horses would best be used as transport animals. So the community arranged another entertainment, a series of traditional Tboli games. Spelid is their own version of our pickup sticks. Hanaw is a pole race on bamboo stilts. Skewang is sungka, but this time played with holes dug out of the ground. Sudul is 2 teams standing on opposite ends of a bamboo pole struggling to push the other team out of the field of play. As a Tboli wedding celebration came to an end, the hill country around Sitio Safang resounded the music and laughter of celebration. Soon after, Dayaw would be on its way to document another wedding. This time, one that would take place on the waves and waters of Tawi-Tawi. The Sama are renowned for their boat-building abilities that have enabled them to live on the waters as well as venture out into the open seas to fish. The Sama's boats may look simple, perhaps even fragile, but these hardy crafts are the product of centuries of knowledge and mastery of the seas. Lean, sturdy, and engineered to ride the currents, these crafts reflect the story of the Sama people. While filming, we heard that a Sama Dilaot wedding was about to take place in Barangay Tonggehat in Sibutu, a coastal municipality of Tawi-Tawi. The Sama Dilaot, more known as the Sama Bajau, are the coastal and sea-dwelling branch of the Sama-speaking people. They descended from the Austronesians and occupy parts of Sulu as well as eastern Indonesia and Sabah, Malaysia. They speak a distinct subgroup of the Austronesian language family. While they consider themselves followers of Islam, theirs is a unique belief system that blends many animist elements from their pre-Islamic past. The Sama Dilaot are still referred to as the nomads of the sea, a notion which heightens their own deep connections to this challenging environment. Traditionally, they followed the seafood trade routes rather than settling in specific inland areas. Theirs is a culture built on freedom, mobility, and the changing currents of the open seas between Tawi-Tawi and the islands of Indonesia and Malaysia. It is no secret that many other Islamic groups locked inland in distinct geographic locations once looked down on the Sama Dilaot and their seemingly unsettled culture. But the traditional way of life of the Sama Dilaot linked them early on to an environment that is fluid as it is challenging. The sea is their home and their universe. They know its currents, the ebb and the flow of the tides. Theirs also is a knowledge of the stars, the winds, and nature's signs. Nomads, yes, and proudly so. On the final episode of Season 12, we meet young Sama Dilaot groom Jaili Maasiral Pergi and his bride Rima Membong. Theirs was a wedding born by the waves of the Sulu Seas, a wedding alive with the Sama Dilaot brand of Dayaw. Our knowledge, our pride.